Midnight Ramen is a minimally edited, live recorded podcast that takes place at midnight. Although Michael may not be consuming food, it's time to get your bowls out. It's chow time.
Will all come back to you. Break stride, sailing me. Free falling, choose my enemy. Free from the things you say. It will all come back someday.
Good evening, gamers. It is once again midnight here in the neighborhood, or whatever the heck. I don't know, man. I don't really know. Yeah, whatever. I was like, what should I name chat or fans or whatever? But now's not the time. I don't feel like it. I don't know, man. I want to get talking to other stuff. We got to get down to business. Speaking of business, if you want to go to, well, it is business. If you want to go watch this live, you can go to my Twitch at twitch.tv/MeltDelic Original, of course. If you want to watch the show live or just watch the VODs there, unedited. And you can also watch the after show for, the duration of the 2 weeks that it remains because, Twitch. Unless, because I know that technically you could, but it's not really worth it, nor it's not worth it. And plus I'm not at that level yet. No, I'm way too small for that. I'm way too small at this point to be getting that. To be allowing that VODs just to stay up. I think that is a thing though. I don't know why I'm thinking about this now. But you can watch the edited stuff whenever, wherever, whenever on YouTube, and eventually when I actually get it up onto other platforms, because I was thinking about it today. I'm like, oh, I should probably start doing that, but I haven't. Whoops. I mean, the process is probably shouldn't be that hard, but then again, I am being stupid, and it's minimally edited, so I don't know how good the quality is. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, actually, did I even have this right title? It's the right title. I'm tripping. I feel like today I've been the past 48 hours, I've been forgetting just the dumbest shit, and not in a bad way, but I'm just like, what time am I supposed to be at some place? What? And it's I totally forgot yesterday when I was supposed to be at work, today or Wednesday, earlier in what would be my day. It's I totally forgot when I go in the same time that I usually do, and it's wait a minute, I should know that. It's whatever. But yeah, all's good in the neighborhood. Otherwise, it's been pretty warm. It's been in the 60s, and in other places apparently it's snowing really hard in Colorado. They're getting 10 inches, or I don't know, something absurd amounts of snow in Colorado. Meanwhile, on the other side of the mountain range, nothing. I don't think we've had rain in or I've seen really rain or even snow, because it's still winter for the next. This is literally the last episode that'll be in winter, as it's Pi Day, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's literally when the next episode is. It'll be spring, so technically, but there hasn't really been any much precipitation at all for the whole entire time. the whole entire winter here, which is weird. And a lot of it like is like melted like pretty damn fast. But honestly, I'm not complaining because like it's easier to drive to work and drive around. Period. Um, and yeah, it's that time when winter goes from where the weather goes from like, man, winter sucks, I want to kill myself, to yeah, this is nice. I think summer's coming. And also another thing too is like this week was the start of daylight savings, which I don't know why we still do. The only reason that it was made was because of World War One. I'd say not two. It's in one because they wanted to. It was like, I don't know if it was a farming thing or if it was a war thing, but they wanted to like preserve the daylight hours at night, so they could actually see something like that. I can't remember, but honestly, we don't need it. We don't need it at this point. And I like when I was working at the TV station, like there were I don't know if there were talks about just getting rid of it, at least in the U.S. And I know some other countries still do it, but honestly, I don't see why we still do. And even with the states, like they left it to the states to decide for that. Like I know Arizona, where I was born, they don't go off of that, which is which is fine. But the thing that really fucked with me when I was a kid, especially like around like this time, one thing I really liked doing was watching the Kids' Choice Awards on Nick, but I had zero fucking clue on when they would go on because like, at in this day and age, yeah, you can just watch it anytime on streaming, but like during those times, like you either had to tape it, or if you were rich or whatever ahead of the times, TiVo it or record it, which I don't know how you're gonna record it, without the other two. Or well, TiVo, DVR, whatever, same thing. And like I would just like miss the entire war or the thing because like I was a freaking kid and I want to watch that stuff, but I would miss the entire thing solely because like, oh shit, the time zone was off. And like I didn't know when, so like thank God for like thank God for like the TV guide thing, like the screen on the TVs or the TV guide stuff that could tell you when the programming. But like now that I was thinking about it, like even when I was like at the TV station, like especially for like those kinds of events, like sporting events and award shows, it's hard to plan around that sort of stuff. And even for news too, because like if you have something that interrupts a program, oh boy, it sucks. It's like thank God I wasn't on like the side that was like running the ads during the commercial breaks, because I don't know how they did it. Like those guys are different characters. They run off of jet fuel, monster, and something we don't want to know. Probably radiation. A singular one. Oh my. Oh, so Orgadiki in chat saying like we only had good American shows after 7 p.m. We had one channel that ran children's shows, a single one. That reminds me of Saturday morning cartoons, because like I mean that was a thing originally. That's because way back when, that's when they would show it, but then it started becoming a thing and more and more and more. And I think even during my generation, I think that's kind of when I was growing up, that's kind of when you still had it, but I feel like early 2010s is when they just died out. Because I think ABC was one doing it, or is it and the WB, I can't, so that would be CBS, would do that. But then again, if like there was a sports game going on, that means no cartoons for that week. And when my family like lived on my grandpa's farm, like that was the only time that we could like we could watch cartoons. I mean, yeah, we could go online and, you know, do kids games, but we didn't have like any really big access to it. But then we moved into the home and that, and then we got cable and that crap. Like I missed on some of the shows because I'm like, especially during like it was around early 2010s, so like very early, like 2009. Well, before that, I think 2009 is when we moved to our house, that I mainly grew up afterwards, or even the one I'm in now. Just saying. Yeah, that was where I would usually, like, that's all the cartoon stuff that I would get. I think it's enough about cartoons, but this episode is on Pi Day. This episode is being recorded on Pi Day. The next video that's going up on my YouTube channel, other than this, is kind of related to Pi Day, and it was a good one. I'm not going to spoil it, but the reason, while I was editing it, I really rediscovered the reason I do not want to eat on the podcast, because it's horrible. Like, I'm not for that shit. I'm not for it at all, because like I'm not into that ASMR stuff. It's like I just don't like it, you know. I'm one of those people that just I don't get it. No. Just get it out. Nah, not for me. Just bugged and creeped. Even though I'm an audio guy, even so. But I could hear like some like chewing stuff. I'm like, oh nope, not doing that on the podcast. Unless if like I had another guest, like there's no reason for me to be eating. And just me talking with my mouth full, that's not good etiquette. And this next video is not good etiquette. Eating etiquette. Like I'm eating with my mouth open. Like I'm eating with my mouth open, which I don't do. I don't really do, I think. Yeah, chewing and crunching pauses. Yeah. But like it was part for the video, context of the video, it makes sense. But yeah. And honestly, I was trying to get other people like talking, like physically voice talking, because yeah, I did not want to have some of the video just be me. But that's what you're getting. That's what you're getting. Whatever. But it's a good video. I put my good. I'm not gonna say it. But I put my good foot forward. I put a good workout on, I think. Could I have done more? I don't know. But I did good on it, in my opinion. Yeah, it's Pi Day and like numbers and stuff. Like I was like in school, I was one of those kids that was good at math. I like math. I like doing math. I like math and science. Reading, miss me with that shit. Like I am not perceptive to like character shit unless if it's like obvious. Unless if it's like obvious, or if I do catch it, oh, you better fucking watch out. You better watch the fuck out. Like, yeah, I do have those moments, but like in general, I'm not a good, like reader of character, unless if it's like, depending on context, I don't know. Because like one infamous time that I had in 8th grade, it was reading The Monkey's Paw, and basically the story of The Monkey's Paw is like a family in India gets a rich family in India gets a monkey's paw. I can't remember why or how, but they're told whenever they make a wish, it goes down, but it has unforeseen consequences whenever they make a wish. So I think their first one, and spoilers, whatever, but their first one is to get just wealthy, just like stinking rich, because they're well off, but they're not like well off. So Their first wish is to get rich. So the way that the monkey paw thinks about it is killing their son in that horrible, gruesome car accident. And this is like when cars are first like out, just horrible, just manslaughter. That kid is gone, like just straight up roadkill. Like even the version that we read it, like I still remember. It's like, yeah, your kid got just demolished, like shredded by a car. But yeah, and then they're like, their second wish is to bring him back. And our teacher was like, "Oh, pay attention, because after this wish, well, the paper that we had to write about it was about the third wish and what the third wish was, because you don't know what it is, you don't hear it, but whatever." So right after the second wish in the story, there's like a mouse that walks by, and they're in India. So I thought, oh, it's reincarnation. Their son is now the mouse or whatever. Fucking nope, it's the guy knocking at the door. Because whatever. That doesn't make sense. I'm using some, like, I may be stupid, but I'm using relative logic given the thing, because like the context. They wanted their son back, but he's dead. So my mind jumped to reincarnation, because I am repeating myself. India, they believe in that Hinduism. Big brain. But no, everyone else in the class was on the exact same page. And at the end of the book, end of the story, basically, there's a huge knocking at the door that right afterwards, after the second wish is made. And the wife does not want to open the door, because they know it's their dead son, and they don't want to look upon their dead son and deal with the consequences of their dead son being alive again. So the third wish, really, according to everyone else, was to kill their son again, which doesn't make sense, in my opinion. Which, I can get, like, oh, if their son is brought back, whatever, from the dead. And then it's like their second wish is like well after the funeral, well after, like, just like he's in the ground already, 6 feet deep from their son dying. Yeah. Insurance. Yeah. He gets rich off of like their son dying and getting the insurance money off of it. And, oh, well, that's not going to be good for YouTube. Whatever. Screw it. But my reason, and this is like my 8th grade mind, it's like, obviously thought, well, she can't deal with the consequences of what's behind the door, because the story never shows you what's behind the door, because it could just be a random person. It could literally just be a random person. But it's presumed it's the son, just back from the dead, which does not exactly make sense, especially with, I feel like, the logic of the monkey's paw. It's like, oh, you want to get rich? Okay, I'll kill your son. You'll get money. Logically, that makes sense. Like, there are dire consequences to your actions. And my theory on what the third wish was is that the wife wanted to kill herself because she didn't want to deal with the consequences of whoever was behind the door. If it was her son, whatever, she did not want to deal with it. So her third wish was to kill herself and not to re-kill their son, which was so stupid. Which, like, I get it now, but, like, still, logically, I feel like it would make sense. Like, the second wish, her son coming back as a rat or a mouse or whatever, immediately after the second wish is done, because, like, shit happens almost immediately. It's like, and it's in India, so they believe in Hinduism with reincarnation, all that stuff. It's like, that makes sense. Young kid going to a rat, that makes sense. I don't know. It almost makes more sense than their dead son 6 feet in the ground somewhere, like way away, far away from their home, getting up out of the ground and immediately being at the door. That makes a lot less sense. Enough of my ranting on that one, though. So I got an F on that paper. I was fucking pissed. And the teacher also had a thing against me. And I think I mentioned that before. On a previous episode. But that's neither here nor there. But math, I was really good at. Back on topic, I was really good at math. Except for one teacher, which is an absolute bitch. Yeah. Have beef with children. I never get that. Why do so many teachers have beef with children? I mean, favoritism. I mean, it's not. It's like with the same thing. It's like the same thing with, like, you know, from just peers, and also you're dealing with the same kids for however long. You're gonna get favorites and, you know, favoritisms and all that crap. But it was just so weird. Because, like, and I think it had to kind of be that I kind of like their daughter, but at the same time, I also had her dad, who was also a teacher, and oh man, I fucking love that dude. That dude was awesome. He was awesome to me, and I loved him in class. He was so cool. Like, my record collection, or like, I'm trying to get a record collection that looks exactly the same as the records that were on his wall. Like, he had a lot of good ones, too. But math, going back to math, I love math. Like, I like doing math. I'm pretty good at math. I'm like, you get me onto something and you're telling me what to do. Once, like, math is like, if you know what you're doing, you can get it 90% of the time, I feel like. If you know the process, and if you get the process, you can, it's, you know, adjustable here or there. You can use it wherever. But it's just weird. It's just, like, you don't get that out of reading. It's like, oh, you have the methodology of one book does not apply to the other. If someone likes one, that's like a Romeo and Juliet thing in one book, it's not the same in another one and it's not. Like, you can say that Twilight is like a Romeo and Juliet, but you can't say Hunger Games is Romeo and Juliet. Even though there is a strong love connection in the book. That's like, that shouldn't really be there. But there is. It's like that. But, yeah, you can't say it, but you can. But you also can't. But math, it's like, you know what, like, if you know how to get to point A to point B, simple process. And I always liked that stuff. When I was in high school, I was doing calculus my junior year for high school credit because, yeah. Because, yeah. I mean, for college credit, I should say. And calculus is fucking hard. And that's coming from me saying that. And I'm good at math. I would say that. But, like, my teacher, and he was teaching calculus and other math stuff for years. And it comes to my parent-teacher conference, and I'm getting like a B-, B, like somewhere in the B's. And the only other time that I got lower than a B- was because of a teacher that, again, hated me like, was a real hard ass and wasn't good. But those were different reasons. But this one, he was like, yeah, that's normal. It's hard material. I mean, he admitted it was hard material, but he's like, give it some time. Like the highest grade in the class was like a B+, like A-, B+. And that's, like, you know, freaking geniuses that are like, they know what they're doing. And they've studied hard and all that stuff. And, like, I wasn't much of a huge studier. Like, once I got the information, once I knew information, I locked it in. for the test and all this stuff. I would study at points, but I wasn't a huge studier. Yeah. But of course, like even after that, and once we got done through the material of calculus and preparing for the tests, the big AP calculus test I would get, like say if we got credits for college or not, we all got it. Like, and once we got to the test, we got done super early, and we couldn't leave. Like the whole entire room was done. And even the teacher was like, I can't let you go because it was a time thing. And even like one of the guys that was like doing we were all doing AB except for one guy who was my friend at the time, my friend. And he was doing BC, which is just more advanced calculus. And we all got done like incredibly early. And we all kind of like, and there was like one like long form question on the test. I think we were all kind of like looking at each other like, what the fuck is this? Like the whole test was like kind of a breeze, but there was like one question I think we all like knew like, this is not right. Like even the test is wrong on it. Like you're not looking at other people's papers and stuff. I think I was like looking up at like certain points, just being like, "Are you guys seeing this? Like, are y'all seeing this exact question? Like, am I high? What's going on?" Yeah, that was a time. That was a real time. But then I think for my senior year, I took AP Stats, which again another college credit course, just doing stats instead of statistics instead of calculus. And breeze, just a breeze, because like it's like with calculus, it's a lot harder. Like it's a lot denser and harder math, but it applies to literally everything in real life. Like if you're driving a car, like one direction, and say a cop is like trying to test your speed, unless if they're in like parallel to you, they do not have an accurate reading. And that is a way that you can get out of a ticket if you can show the math. And if you can show the math, they can't. I don't like. Of course, you're probably going to get arrested, or like ticketed. But if you can show the math, like you can pull some shit. Yes. Is AP something you take so you don't have to take the class in university? Yes, that is exactly what it's for. I think it's like advanced progress, or I don't know what it stands for. I think it's advanced progress. But yeah, I think that's what it is, or what it stands for. But yeah, you take you can do it for like any subject. I think I did some science ones. I think I did an English one here, there. Because like free college credits in high school, that's good. In the US, that's good. Well, now it's not huge of a thing, because I think like it's not huge of a thing now, because I think with the payment shit, it's real weird. It's real weird. But yeah. But for stats, breeze through that the entire time. I don't think I had any like trouble with that one. Well, the test too was like super breezy, and I like the math teachers that I've had, especially in high school, were really good. It was just one teacher in middle school for math that, as I was kind of referencing before, that I got anything lower than a B. Yeah. You know what? Let's get into magic, because like we're getting into money talks, I guess. You know what? I want to get into money talks. Magic the Gathering. And I'm trying to think of like what's the most expensive car that I own. So I'm opening 2 Karlovs and a Ravnica Remastered. kind of want to. I don't know if I want to get another Ravnica remastered draft box because I don't think they're gonna hold up. I don't think they're gonna hold up, and I'm doing some financial stuff and just saying out loud. But I really don't feel like they're gonna hold up in comparison to like Dominaria remastered the previous year. Like I have a box sealed of that, and I'm pretty sure it definitely probably did drop, but like again, in like say 10 years, it's still probably gonna retain its value. Whereas this, I don't think it will. Let's just open it. Let's open these cards. Kind of Island, Market Watch Phantom, Esteemed Core Scholar as the rare, and a wrench. Is there anything cool in here? No. No. Yuck. You know what? Yeah, let's open the Ravnica remastered one. This one doesn't want to open. I think it was last time. Like I was opening packs like easy. This one just doesn't want to open. Oh, there it goes. I like it. In the chat, it's I just see Orchidiki saying, "I like the U.S. because you have a lot of cults." That is true. That is true. Yeah. No, don't know why. And then to arms. Simic Guildmage. This monkey dude. Little monkey beast. Memphic Vapors. Cloudfin Raptor. Bulwark Giant. Praising Populace. Bomber Corps. Sky Knight Legionnaire. Macabre Waltz. Goblin Token. Simic Guildgate. Poop. Ooh, foil. Ooh. Foil Temple Garden. That's actually good. Shockland. And then a weird little thing. Got a Debt to the Deathless. Each opponent loses 2 times X. Gain life equal. Oh, that's not bad. And then Assure and Assemble. Okay. So foil Temple Garden, that's probably worth like $15. I'm thinking. That probably is, if I were to guess, probably $15. I'll definitely check the math on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the exact amount or near it. Don't quote me on it, but I'm gonna check it after I get into this last pack here real fast. I'm gonna go a little bit faster on it. A Killer Among Us. Among Us. Among Us. Among Us. Sudden Saddleback. Lead Pipe. Benthic. Criminologist. Magnifying Glass. Deduce these nuts. Pick your poison. Rack your scoundrel. A phantom. Danny Phantom. A dog. Ooh. Art card and a forest behind it. Timmy. Forest. And then behind it we got Fae Flight. And then we got Madam Web around the center of the web. Poop pack. Boo. Poop pack. Poop pack. But let's actually check on the price of it. Let me check on the price of that a card. Oh wait, I need to pull up the chat. Oh no. I mean, it would be. Let's check Card Kingdom, because Card Kingdom I like looking at because it's better. Temple Garden. It was. Oh crap! That's not even before. Oh wait, no! It's got to be the Ravnica remastered one. Okay, for the Ravnica remastered, just as a regular version, $14.99, and that's before it being foil. So if I switch it to foil, $20. That's on TCG Player. It's not going to actually be that. I feel like $15 is probably about right. if I were to sell it. But I can find a use for it. I have decks that I can use it for, I think. But yeah, that's probably the best one I've hit of these. But honestly, yeah. But I haven't gone hard. I didn't go hard in this last set, Murs of Kalof Manor, because one, not a lot of good cards in it on it. Like there's a handful of good cards, but there's a whole lot of just poo poo pee pee garbage. But this next set, Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Ooh, I am going hard in the paint for. Like I feel like I'm for sure getting like 3 booster boxes. Why? Fuck it. I don't know. Getting all the decks. Maybe a collector booster box. I don't know. But I feel like I want to, because like Yeehaw Cowboy. It's a Yeehaw Cowboy set. And I love that sort of shit. And the sad thing is they're not doing like the theory that I had that they were gonna do, and they previewed it like way back when, is that they had like a way that they're like, you know, like playing cards, like poker like cards. Like they had art kind of similar to that. And I wish they did it, but they haven't, because then I can make a deck that's like kind of like a poker deck, but it's the cards from the set, but they're not doing it, which sucks. But whatever. What can you do? Let's do some money work. Actually, let me go on to what I just realized today, and I thought about it, and not to get into like some crypto scam shit, and I don't approve of that sort of thing. I don't approve of that sort of thing. If you don't feel like you like doing that, don't do it. But I just thought about this today. It's like the 4-year anniversary of like the last big spike of what's it, why am I blanking? Of I'm literally blanking. I'm looking it up. Of Bitcoin. Yes, Bitcoin. Which, if memory serves correct, and if history is correct, now is the time to invest, because it's going up. It's going up big. And the reason for it is because crypto mining and other stuff is basically doing a long, or like a very big equation. You're trying to solve for this like quantum equation. I can't remember exactly what it is, but every time it solves it or finds a solution to it, you know, you get a coin, you get a token, a big coin. But I think like there's only so many limited, and like even after it's solved or something like that, it like gets hard, like surprisingly harder or something like that. I can't remember the exact methodology and computer science-y shit, but every 4 years it seems like that's about the time of when there's a huge influx of like, or the value of the coin goes up, or people start solving it more or something like that, or like there's more, you know, people solving it and getting more, or something like that, kind of just like flourishing the quote unquote economy. I think I don't know exactly, but I think that's the principle. But like in 2020, that's when a huge one happened. That's when I feel like cryptocurrency was really brought into the mainstream. And I did a little bit of that. I'm not gonna lie. I bought into Dogecoin. I'm not proud of it. I'm not gonna admit it. I did sell it. I was definitely one of those to the moon boys, but not like a sort of, but I got it. I was like in on the joke, but not like full on, look, to the moon. No, it's like, I was like, yeah. It's basically running a penny stock. It's not like, it'll just die if you don't know what you're doing. if you're not investing smartly, and it's just bullshit. But like crypto, like Bitcoin itself is obviously more secure because it is whatever blocked by the, like, verified by the blockchain or whatever the fuck. I don't know. So weird. But yeah, when it got like big in 2020, obviously because of the pandemic and other stuff, like it became a thing. Like I feel like it's not really a thing anymore, but it's probably gonna come back again. But we peed on the carpet. Yeah, let's get off of crypto money things, because yeah, that gets a little weird. And I don't like talking about it a lot, but if you do want to do that, just know, lock that in your brain probably every like 3, 4, 5 years. Keep an eye. And if something pops off, get on it fast. Like I had that thought like a couple months ago. It's like I should probably get on it. And I think I'm a little late, but it's still got some on. But it might go up further, so I don't know. I'm not like huge into it though. I'm not investing thousands of dollars. But no, I put some just money aside in my Robinhood account and just doing it that way. Oh yeah, I need to probably put that on my taxes. I don't know if I've got this thing for it though. Maybe I do. Probably do. Also, doing taxes. I know in other countries that it's not really a huge thing. They just kind of really send you the bill, and it's more kind of less than in the U.S. trying to like lobby that. I mean, although there are definitely companies that are just like make it easy to do it. No, and I feel like it also gives you the choice to do things, because like say for me, if you want to do like a side hustle in that, how are you going to be able to? How is the government going to be able to know what you're making? Because that's not to say that you shouldn't be. It's more or less just keeping track of your money. I don't know how it is in other countries per se, but I think they want to be sure that, and you can get money back. Like you can get money back. Like it's not always you're going to get like a huge bill. No, you can get money back. And I feel like in previous years I have gotten money back from my taxes, even after using programs and stuff to do it that, are paid for. But yeah. Taxes are just weird. It's moved to America. Taxes are just weird. I mean, they are scary, but I feel like they make not only do they make programs, like there's stuff online that you can do it with, but they make it they try to make it really freaking easy. And in retrospect, it is. It's incredibly easy. It's just a lot of footwork and knowing what's your income, how much you're getting, and all that other junk. It's just keeping track of your money, so it's not like, oh, you have $1 million. Where did that money come from? Oh, you're dealing drugs? Boom. That's kind of what like it's trying to keep track of, I feel like. And that's what like got all the like gangsters. It wasn't, serving alcohol. No, it was the taxes. Like Al Capone, he got caught on taxes. And he was like, shit. And do you have to save receipts? Not all the time. No, and not for everything. Like if it's a big, like if it's a business expense, you can. I don't know how exactly you go about filing all that, but if it's like, you say, if I bought like a huge LED sign, I could use that as a business expense. Like I could probably use this as a business, my LED sign that I have right now as a business expense, even though it was a gift. I don't want to do that. And plus, like, there's like kind of mucky there. It was also a gift, so a little murky in that water. But like, say I got like a better camera, stuff like that. I could use that, have that receipt, and use that for my taxes. Which I feel like I'm gonna try to, at some point this year, I'm gonna try to up my cameras and setup and stuff like that, because like I just need to. And I just kind of noticed, like, if you're watching the video, this is weird. I see like the hues of it. It's like going from like a really warm purple to like a violet blue, like a violet or blue. Whatever. Why are taxes not a part of prices? They are. They still are part of prices. Oh, I got scared by my computer. It just did one of those things where it just like is blowing out air, just like it just revved up really fast, really quickly for just no reason. Not a bad thing, but yeah. Like, aren't they on the price? See, the thing, taxes in the U.S. are just weird. And also it goes from state to state, and there's federal and there's state, depending on where you live. And they can change from place to place. Because, like, you don't want to be paying, like, some places in the U.S. don't have as much money as others. Like, I do not want to be paying California tax when I'm living in the middle of fucking Wyoming. The middle of buttfuck nowhere, Wyoming. Yeah, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. But now it also, if you were at that same level, then that causes inflation. And not the even funny one. Not the funny stuff. The really stuff. And not even like the weird ones that Sonic's always depicted in. No, even weirder and bad. But yeah, I don't know how my taxes are going to be. I also need to put my money into a retirement stuff plan thing, and it's good to invest your money. And I feel like it's good to invest the money because, like, even the stuff that I had in this stupid account, even the stuff that I had for that fucking Dogecoin actually kind of grew, which is weird. Like, overall, I think my account said I made money off of it, which is nuts. Because I did not pay it. I have not paid attention to it for a long time. Like a long time. And plus, like, even the amount that I was getting back, like, I probably should have put it on, but even so, like, the amount that I was getting wasn't, or having out, isn't a lot. I just put like maybe 1,000 into the stock markets and stuff like that. And like, that's a weird thing too with the US and all that other stuff with stocks and all that. It's just weird. The thing that really gets me off too, makes me mad. And I'm not saying I hate my job. I don't. And I'm not trying to reference any specific company at all. But it's weird when I feel very weird and conflicted whenever I'm teching a room or like during an event and they're talking about how much they made in sales that year, especially for if it's like, I don't want to say lucrative business, but like selling big commodities like a house or a car or like things that like are kind of big. And they've only sold like, maybe 100. But because of commissions, they're making like, I've sold 100 cars. But in profit, I've made $1 million. It's like, so you're getting how much in commission? That's a lot of money. So like, say, let's do some quick math. So say, and I'm just doing an exaggeration of a number I've heard recently from a certain group. And it's not the exact numbers and it's not the exact group. Say, say I got $1 million in profit from selling 100 of an item. So that would mean I would have taken away $10,000 per unit, which is insane. Say if that were like for a car, even for a fucking car, even if it's like a luxury car, that's like, unless if it's like a Bugatti or something like that, $10,000 for a car is insane of a commission. If that's even a thing, 10,000 is insane. And it was for like other things that people are definitely not paying that much for. So I don't know how they're making these numbers up, unless if they're saying what their branch or whatever group is making as a company, even with a profit. Like I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Because like you also have to consider how much the item itself is, how much it took them to buy it or whatever. Like taxes. Yeah, I don't know. Like how like you're paying your people, so how much is that going into account? Like, you know, that sort of things. It's like I don't get how that works. Like, and I'm good at math again. Like I'm good at math and stuff like that. It's just like, huh? Although hearing from a teammate, one that really got me on that was like one that I was working, and even a teammate that like swapped me out afterwards because I wanted to, because you know, even he was like, yeah, I kind of know what they're doing. It's kind of a scam. like you gotta, yeah. And it's like stuff that like people need, but not like desperately need. And I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And then not to say that in a mean way, but it's weird when you get groups. It's weird when you get groups that say these numbers out loud, just out loud to a bunch of people they do not know, and they're paying very little for whatever event they're doing. Like in comparison, it's like pennies to $1. So like vary this much to like this much. Like this much. Like you can barely see it. To like a foot long. Like inches, like like millimeters to a meter. Like comparison. It's like I just don't get it. You're able to do that, but then you get real persnickety when you have to pay a millimeter. You're getting a meter, but you get really mad when you're paying millimeters. I don't know. And like, it's like I'm not mad about people's hustle, but like if you're scamming, but we've definitely catered to a group or groups. I'm just leaving that as a blank statement. That are definitely pyramid schemes. Closeted pyramid schemes. They hide behind something, but the way that the way that they kind of talk about it, it's definitely a pyramid scheme. Just very not subtle. How the fuck does tipping work? Or do you guys, how does tipping work? Is it 15% of the total was of what the total was? Is there a reason why American waiters like they want to get adopted? Well, tipping it's just more of a courtesy thing. I know other countries don't really do that, but I don't know. It's just saying like if you do a good job, it's like, hey, here's $5. Thank you for doing what you do, more or less. In some places, depending on what the job is, or what you're doing, like say for food, like if you're not doing a good job, don't tip. If you don't have the money, don't tip. Like it's more of an obligation. You don't have to, but you can, and more or less, you should. Like if they're really annoying, don't tip. But like in other places, like say Hawaii, it's like, yeah, you should be tipping people quite a bit. They kind of are like, yeah, you don't do it, we break your legs. Or from what I've heard, on the resorts. But that's neither here nor there. And yeah. Yeah. Brando Wiki. But tipping is more just like trying to make sure that like, oh, you're doing a good job. Thank you for doing a good job. Because like especially if they're doing a good job and saying like, oh, your bill is $20 and you give them a 30, that's saying like, hey, you did a very good job. Thanks for doing what you do. Keep it up. That shows something. And now you can do like, oh, leave messages and notes to the manager and stuff like that. But it's not as like, hey, you should be paid. Like, hey, you're doing good. It doesn't speak volumes as much as like physical cash tips. And obviously a lot of places, you know, you don't do that. Or like even in my profession, doing like audiovisual stuff, in certain locations, they do, people have received tips. Or like doing sound stuff, like people have received tips. But we can't, because it's just, one, it's just weird. Like because of the location and it's on a casino, we don't, because it's weird, and there's just a lot of minutia that is just like, we probably shouldn't be taking that. It's like, and plus it also can be seen as exploiting because, you know, alcohol and stuff like that. Yeah. Anyways, I probably should get near to wrapping up. But yeah. Oh yeah, I just took Bacon. Well, in the last week I took Bacon to the vet. I probably should say that before we, you know, get off. And like a trooper, like, if y'all know, like, you see him in the picture up here, like, he's a big cat. Like, he is a big cat. He weighs 20, like, when he was weighed in, he weighed 26 pounds, which is huge. It's, like, that's big. But he's a naturally big cat. He's not like a huge, like, Maine Coon. But even when I brought him into the vet, they were like, yeah, we've had many cats before that, you know, we thought maybe they're part Maine Coon, which is like big, layman's term for just a big cat. Like, there's like a breed of big cat. And they're like, yeah, that he's probably, like, we don't know if he is, but if he is, like, he's probably the closest thing to being a Maine Coon. Or part Maine Coon, because he's definitely like, I think tabby. I don't know what the breeds are. Like, I could tell you dog stuff, but I sure as shit can't tell you a cat. I sure as shit can't tell you what cat breeds are. But other than Maine Coon and tabby, like that's it. Cats are just colors, really, and calico. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there are different, like, you know, breeds of cats, because, like, some of them have different physical characteristics. Others, like orange cats, are totally different to Bacon, for instance. But, yeah. But at the vet, he was doing, he did, I mean, for his size, he's he needs to lose weight, obviously. He needs to lose weight. He had like one weird tooth that was kind of rotting, so I don't know if I'll get it done, but like, like he's fine. And he's got like a little bump on his head that I thought like, oh, it might be something, but they're like, no, you can probably just pop it. Or it looks like a zit, or it's like a cyst or a zit. It's like, you could probably pop it, but it's not nothing to worry about. And I kind of thought it was for a little while, because I started noticing it last summer, or like it started like showing up last summer. I'm like, that might be a bug. But they're like, yeah, no, that's just normal. Like, and he hasn't really been noticeably or really sick at all, so He's fine. But even at the vet, because like it's hard to get him around because he is fucking wild, dude. I can't put him in a kennel because he's one, fucking massive, but two, he like in the car, he goes around. Like I have put him in a kennel and he's gotten out before. He's gotten out from the inside. It was crazy when we first got him and stuff. And thank God for the car that I had because I had a lot of room for him to move. But like, dude was an escape artist, or like he loved running around. But once he gets settled, because he's nervous. But once he got like settled, he's like, oh, this is fine. And at the vet, like once we got him into the room, I mean, he was like nervous and scared a little bit because, you know, he hasn't really been to the vet in a couple years. But once he was in the vet, he was peachy. He was fine. And they like took his shots like a fucking champ. Like he got like a rabies shot and I can't remember, another shot. Like dude didn't even flinch. Didn't even tense up. He did nothing. Blood was just like, yeah. And then they did some blood work and I didn't hear anything from the other room, but dude took it like a champ. And he was very good. Very good. And then even in the car on the way back, I think he just sat down, or he found a spot once we were driving back, and he was like, wasn't making a single sound. He was just like, yeah, I like it. It's fine. But I'm glad that, and he's been a little weird. I don't want to say he's been acting weird since, but I feel like he's been like, just more of himself. More of himself. I mean, I'm trying to get him more of like just eating more dry diet food, but he's just being more of himself. Like he's hopping on the couch where the family dog likes to sit and taking over his spot when he's not there. And even when he is there sometimes, just taking over a spot and just being a little sucker. Even before the episode, like he was like meowing and shit, just like, it's like, hey dad, look at me. But yeah, I should wrap it up now. If you want to, thank you for listening, watching. If you want to go to Twitch, you can watch us live. You could also watch the VODs for up to 2 weeks, and you can watch the after show, which happens right after. All of that's unedited. But if you can't make it onto Twitch, you can go onto my YouTube channel where I have all the episodes edited down and spiffed up and all that stuff. Whatever. And eventually, it'll be on other platforms. Yeah, that we have to be in for 8. Okay, he was like, if you don't hear from me in a few days, it's because I can't my teacher who has a podcast scheduled for 8 a.m. that we have to be in. That's funny. So anyways, yeah, thank you for listening, watching, doing what you do. Wait, no, I'm not done yet. I already said eventually it'll be on other podcast platforms. Thank you to Gradins for the use of their song, The Call. Thanks to Gradins for the use of their song, Used to It, off the album The Call. There we go. Yeah, good boys. I can't wait till I'm like actually closer to seeing them. Like location wise, because like they're moving closer to where I am now, which is awesome. And I hope to see them more probably this summer. I don't know. Yeah. And I kind of can't wait. I should probably check on the location. I'll do that after the podcast is over. Cause yeah. And thank you guys for listening, watching, do what you do, and all that other stuff. And yeah. But as I look at the clock, I think you already know. If you know, you know. It's not midnight here anymore. But But it's midnight somewhere else. So until it becomes midnight here once again, I'll see you later. But until then, adios, which translates to bye-bye.